Well, Talo Falava bikers, it's been a long time since I've posted. My apologies for that. It's been a rubbish 2024. Some of you will know, just when the weather was coming good in April, I injured my shoulder quite badly motocrossing, and so my season was completely written off. Hadn't really been able to get riding until September, October, and the weather sort of fell apart, and other commitments in my UK motocross season's been a write-off, so that's disappointing, to put it mildly. So with 2024 sort of written off and running down to another UK winter and not too much work on the horizon, there was only one thing I could really do, and that is decamp to the south of New Zealand for the southern summer, as you do. So here I am overlooking Waikawaiti Bay in Otago, and so over the next few months I hope to be posting more stuff as I spend my time riding around Otago and central Otago, and then in due course no doubt into the Alps themselves. And for that purpose I have a completely new baby in the flock. So this is the new bike I've just picked up, just running in. It's got about 300 kilometers on it now. Completely new type of bike, KTM 390 Adventure. To be honest, I never thought I'd be buying a KTM 390 Adventure, but I have my reasons, and I'll do some vlogs over the next few weeks talking a bit more about why, despite all the criticisms that have been levelled on it, as this is the bike I chose to buy, and that's after test riding both the new Himalayan and the CF Moto 450. Anyway, that's for another day. This is just to let you know I'm alive and kicking, and hopefully much more to come over the next few months. Ciao for now. So obviously there's a long form answer to why I bought the KTM 390, which will involve going through all the various pluses and minuses of the bike, but it should come as no surprise that there's also the short form. So those of you of a impatient disposition, here's the short form answer as to why I finished up with the KTM 390, a bike I never thought that I would buy. The short form is that the bike is for the South Island of New Zealand, and in particular Otago and the Southern Alps, and there's an awful lot of roads like this in this footage here. And so if you're on the tarmac, it's quite likely you're going to be on lovely winding roads, doing 60, 70, maybe 80 kilometers an hour, carving around the corners, and a little bike on this sort of going is just perfect. And the KTM 390 in particular handles those sorts of conditions very, very well, showing its roots in the Duke. Now, of course, the fact that its roots come from the Duke 390 also result in some of its shortcomings as a true adventure bike. But for these sorts of conditions, it's a feature, not a bug. So not evident in this video, another consideration is that if we're not on roads like this, this bike will be spending a lot of time on gravel or metal or unmade roads, depending upon where you're coming from. So essentially, it's a bike made for relatively, or the bike's requirement is for relatively limited requirement for high speed, but very good maneuverability in back roads, and it needs to be able to handle gravel roads really well. And then those things combined with the sort of obvious fact that I don't call my channel Stumpy 200 for nothing. I am short, and manageability is a key requirement. Now, the KTM 390 is not particularly low compared with some of its competitors, which I have test rode, but we'll talk about that on another day. But it can be lowered to a more reasonable level relatively cheaply, which I have done. And on top of that, the key thing is it's incredibly light. It feels very light. So it's, I guess, it's 20 or 30 kilos on the scales lighter than the competitors like the Himalayan and the CF Moto 450, but it feels like 30 or 40 kilos lighter, and in particular it lacks the top heavy feel of some of those bikes. So that's the short and the long of it, is it's all about you and what you want to do with your bike, right? So you can watch as many vlogs as you like and read as many articles, but if the riders writing those articles aren't your size, height, age, and they're not doing the sort of riding you're doing, then obviously it's of limited value. So that's a short answer. So thanks for listening. Hopefully there'll be more interesting vlogs coming up over the next couple of months. But this is a starter on the 390. Now, for those of you on the dirt side of things, don't worry. I haven't gone all roady. Trail riding is coming in the new year. Got a trail bike that's on its way. It should be it's in a container in New Zealand now, and will be arriving shortly. So we'll be hitting the trail riding scene early next year. So for those from the motocross side, there's plenty of trail riding to come. And for those of you who have followed me because of the CB500, don't panic. The CB500 is still safe in my garage back in the UK. It has not been ditched, but it's just not been shipped down to this part of the world. I figure the 390 is a better bike for the sort of riding I'll be doing over the next few months. Anyway, thanks for listening. Ciao for now.